So very soon after seeing, hearing, only 3 moments, then it's there, asava, tiddasava. That's why when one is asked, is it you who see? We say suddenly, I see, she sees, and so on.
So Vincent, I solved the puzzle of anatta in the beginning. It's just the same, like I see, I hear, I think, I'm anatta.
Okay.
Not any
really
understanding.
To say the most miracle, the most difficult thing to find. Oh, sorry.
Most really want you to appreciate the truth of anatta.
That's what I understood just now, that it's what he meant. He simply was trying to say that the most difficult thing is to understand anatta.
But if there is trying in the beginning to understand the truth of anatta, it's the wrong way from the beginning.
He's just saying to reach that is difficult.
Yeah, if the idea of I cannot realize the truth of anatta.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the point.
Right, and that's why
And that
it's
was
the most miracle thing. I was more saying it's a so miracle that the truth can be realized. Actually, there's no one at all.
And I trying to find it, or I trying to understand it, will never lead to that understanding.
I don't think he was conveying that. Were you conveying the idea of you trying to find it?
Not really, but it's okay.
No.
Yeah.
You weren't.
It's about the how amazing the truth is.
And I think what I understood from John's response was that before it takes time to come to understand anatta. So the most difficult is the first point of understanding, the first time there's understanding in any given life. So the beginning is the most difficult. That's what you were saying, right?
I believe so. I don't have any recollection of the conversation, so.
And I think that, like, now that Vincent mentions that how amazing is the truth, I think it's amazing only in the sense that it's always there, but you can never see it, right? But other than that, I don't think there's nothing really amazing about it,
because it's there, but it's unseen as
Right.
I. Yeah. It's not just latent tendency. It's there after seeing, hearing, so natural.
right.
So there's always the idea of I.
Well, I think you could say it's amazing in the sense that you would never you'd never come to that by your own reasoning or thinking. It's just so unimaginable until one hears it.
So close and so far, right? That reminds me of a book, but a book that has nothing to do with it. It's about politics.
But always looking for something else. And I think we could say in the beginning, it has to be the beginning of understanding what Dhamma is. Otherwise, people talk about anatta, but if they don't understand anything about Dhamma, then there won't be any understanding of anatta, no matter how much one hears about it.
Ajarn, can we say that the beginning, the understanding of Dhamma is the understanding of anatta?
The understanding Dhamma as not self.
So the only way to understand because Dhamma is anatta. So understanding Dhamma is understanding anatta.
The truth of it.
That's why it has to develop together. It's not just anatta of nothing, it's of Dhamma.
Are you talking about the Dhamma or conditioned Dhammas?
Conditioned Dhammas.
Or Dhamma.
Well, any or Dhamma. Or the Dhamma.
I have a question about the Kantiñana, which you mention quite often. So we know that this is referring to stages of vipassana jnana only, khanti at those moments. And the actual term khanti jnana, so khanti is patience and jnana is understanding, referring to particular vipassana jnana. So is it referring to the khanti that accompanies that level of jnana when we use the expression khanti jnana? Because khanti is not jnana, so khanti jnana has to refer to khanti with jnana. Is that correct?
Everything arises and falls away. Is the khanti now?
At moments of understanding now, if it's right now, the moments of wise considering, khanti is at those moments.
Even there is right understanding or not, but khanti is virya, right? It arises with almost every citta. But when we talk about understanding, this level of intellectual understanding is not vipassana jnana yet. So even khanti has to have its own conditions to be such and such. Without the level of understanding as vipassana, it's different from hearing about it. So this is, we don't know whether now it's khanti, but it's there, see. So everything is as it is, all dhammas, but no understanding of them as they are, as those self. But after vipassana jnana, the understanding is sharper, keener, and then the understanding of what has been heard before and thought about before becomes true, right? It doesn't, like we have to think about whether what level it is, but from then on, khanti has to have more and more, not just at level of intellectual understanding, because the difference between panya at level of intellectual and vipassana jnana are so quite different. So the khanti after experiences Dhamma directly brings about the understanding that just not have virya to understand whatever is there in daily life will not lead to higher khanti or to condition the vipassana, higher vipassana.
So it's the khanti that leads to, because of the khanti at those moments of understanding, it leads to the higher vipassana jnana. So we can say it's a supporting condition for that understanding at that level, and because the khanti must be so much stronger and firmer.
For example, nama rupa parichetayana, no doubt about the quality, the characteristic of nama, that no rupa at all, and the rupa only one at a time. Everything appears so clear because there's nothing more than that, more than just one characteristic at a time. By then one knows that it's not the moment of experiencing the arising and falling of Dhamma yet. It only shows up what it is as not self at all, only that characteristic. No one, nothing in the world. But that's not enough. That's why it needs khanti at level of jnana, not just hearing and considering.
So that's why khanti jnana has to refer to samasana jnana onwards, when there is already the understanding of the beginning of understanding of the rising and falling away. And when you say khanti at that level, it means khanti of a degree that it accompanies that samasana jnana.
And the way onward from that moment of understanding to the higher one needs khanti.
Yes.
To be khanti jnana
Jnana.
with vipassana.
So it actually, khanti jnana, it's really like a shorthand. It really refers to khanti with that level of vipassana jnana. That's
otherwise it is only khanti, just like intellectual
like now.
understanding.
Thank you.
I think you said there are three 3 stages or something. Is there any significance in the difference between one stage and the
Because
next?
the vipassana jhanas are different. As Khanti now is not Khanti with vipassana jhana, after the experiencing vipassana jhana, the first and the second and the third one, it begins to understand. It's quite long way, far away, that it needs more Khanti. And it has to go with no self, not I who am trying or try to do this or do that or try to listen more or try to think more. Because now this moment is Sankhara Khanda by themselves. No matter what Cetasikas arising together, they work together, not anyone. That's why it's more difficult to see that it's impossible to have the idea of self to try to make it arise. And that is the only way to eliminate the idea of self, gradually, little by little.
But the Khanti at the Pariyati level is also important.
But not Kantiyana. So one can understand it's so far from one understanding to another level. All depends on understanding. That's why it's impossible just to try with the idea of self, of different ways, more and more attachment to the self. And it's the wrong path.
I'd like to help bring up a question of Eve's the other day. The other day Eve asked about kilesa in the discussion, and we could talk about the definition about the 10 akusala dhammas, which are kilesa, and how they are the main kinds of defilements and condition the other defilements. But Ajarn's answer was now. What about now? Because any understanding of kilesa has to be now. And we may think about our defilements in the past and our difficulties and our difficult accumulations. And it's true that everyone has different accumulations to think in different ways. Some people worry about things in the future, and some worry about the akusala done yesterday. But the point is that thinking now with lobha and dosa and moha can never solve the problem of kilesa. So it has to come back to now, because only understanding can ever solve this problem. There will always be kilesa, and if there's no understanding of what appears now as Dhamma, not the story of my kilesa, the stories will continue on, and it will always be the same issue, and we'll talk to all our friends about our problems and our difficulties. But the Dhamma, the understanding now, is the only solution to any problems. Would you say a little more, Ajarn? For this isn't just for Eve, it's for all of us.
Because you think that the problem is I. But when there's the understanding, no doubt about no I, whatever arises is conditioned.
It's always I, like what happened to me, what I'm doing. In the taxi we were talking about, all about self. Maybe Nina has a little more to add. Thinking about defilements and kilesa and all about me. No understanding now at this moment.
Well, that happens all the time. Yeah, not enough understanding. Yeah. So I start to worry maybe about my traveling, about so many things.
It's so natural.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Common to everyone. It seems like it's only I who have all these kilesa and all these particular problems and feel overwhelmed when I step outside. But they are just passing dhammas common to everyone. So the more understanding now of Dhamma, seeing now, hearing now, lobha now, just as dhammas, not as me, this is the beginning of the way leading to the solution to all problems in life.
But in Thailand, I learned to think less seriously about things, to take it easily, to take it more easily. I learned it little by little.
By conditions, remember that
Yeah.
too.
By
Even
conditions.
thinking is conditioned.
Yeah.
Can we also say that conceit plays a role in thinking about one's own
all
kilesa?
Dhamma. Not only conceit.
Because even for the Sotapanna who has no more wrong view of I, there could still be the thought of my kilesa and
Until
compared
all
to other
kilesas
people.
are eradicated.
Ajahn, that reminds me of something I wanted to ask. In Thai, I've heard in one of your talks about Krung Nyan Cha, referring to Tanha, Mana and Titi. Can you say something about that?
Okay, why don't we listen to the teaching? Tanha is there, doing something better, right? And when it's titi, wrong understanding, one can know by oneself. No need to study the teachings of the Buddha or go somewhere. That is titi, all kinds of titi. It's Krung Nyan Cha and Mana. See, why do I have to listen to that person? Yeah.
What means Krung Nung Cha?
Yeah, I forgot to.
Means
Yeah.
it's like slowly slow down the process of understanding to reach Nibbana, mean to Makkapon or way.
I forgot Cha.
Something that stops, something that slow down,
The delaying factor?
delaying factor.
Okay.
Delaying factor?
Delaying factor, yeah.
Is it
Delay. Delay.
Oh, delay.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, to delay. Yeah.
Ajahn, today there is Sampatha Sut. They said ความเสื่อม5และสมบัติ mean the เสื่อม means to decay and 5 treasure and 5 decay. In the context says Buddha says to Bhikkhu that 5 decays are decays in relative ความเสื่อมญาติ decay in Pokah means ทรัพย์สมบัติ Pokah means treasure like wealth and เสื่อม and the decay because of disease, decay because of sila, decay in sila and decay in panya, titi. And Buddha says all Pisuka to see that when the animal mean all living being after death will not go to Tukkati or Narok.
To a happiness realm and
Yeah.
No, Tukati is lower.
Because of decaying in relative, because in decaying in Poka mean decaying in treasure or decay in disease. But the animal after all living being dead will go to Tukati because of decaying in sila or decay in panya. This is the 5 decaying.
What is your question?
So I'm not sure how decaying in relative and decay in Poka and decaying in disease will not make you to go to lower room. I'm not sure why the context says like this.
Can we simply say all akusala brings about that? And kusala different from akusala.
not to go or to go.
To go.
To go.
I mean, if you lost your relative, you will go to heaven. I'm not sure the question. Papa, can you?
I think there's a distinction between decay in worldly things, and the last two are decay in the kusala.
Good deeds.
Kusala.
Sila and Panya will
Right.
let you go to lower.
That's clear enough, right? But
Yeah.
decay in conventional things doesn't lead to an unhappy rebirth necessarily.
Oh. Yeah.
Loss of wealth doesn't lead in itself to an unhappy rebirth.
And because of
Loss
disease,
of wealth is result of karma, not itself karma.
And there are a couple of points from before that you said you've been patiently waiting to bring up, and because you felt it wasn't so suitable during the Chinese
Right.
sessions. Yes.
Thank you. Sarah, you made a comment during the discussions. We were talking about the sense door process and then the subsequent mind door process. And in the sense door process, I'll use the example of seeing the visible object arises and falls away by the end of that process. And in the next process, that object is experienced again, even though the visible object has fallen away. It's experienced again. I've thought through a bit more about what you said, because the image or sign of the visible object remains or becomes the object of the jittas in that first mind door process. And you referred to that as being the nimitta, and now that makes sense to me. I have had an impression, and I don't know why, for the nimitta to, I guess I've thought of the nimitta as being many, many more processes of citta than these two. So that would carry on then as the visible object, another visible object arose again and again.
I think what I was referring to was